everyone. Whew, it's good to be back. Don't mind me, I am eating a second serving of dinner. Can I show this? Yes, look at that. That's what I cooked tonight. Like a roast beef with the pear and parmesan salad and some roast potatoes, a bit of almond, garlic and parsley garnish. And there was beetroot as well, roast beetroot. But I ate it all. So I'm just going to take another few bites while we wait for some people to join. It's pretty good. What course am I doing at uni? Man, that beef is good. I'm doing automotive engineering. Straight out of high school, my first preference was actually mechanical engineering, but the course coordinator said, look, that's got higher entry marks, so put automotive down as your second choice because the courses are near identical. There's only a couple of minor differences. And, you can change when you're at uni. So I was like, okay, I'll do that. Didn't get into mechanical, got into automotive. Then I tried to switch to mechanical and they said, you don't have the marks. You can either try and improve your marks and transfer, or you can just stay in automotive and actually have a look at the courses. There's really not much difference. If there are any mechanical courses which you really want to do, you can do them as an elective. And I kind of find the auto-specific subjects interesting. So yeah, I've ended up staying in auto and saying, oh yeah, actually I would rather stay in auto. Rod Smith says, in Spain, 9:15 p.m. is too early for dinner. Yes. In Spain, I'm an hour early for dinner. Hello, Dark Frosty 101. You were the first person to put something in the chat before me even. I've got 3 people currently watching. And I'll get started in a minute when we have a few more people joining. 4 people now. Let me adjust something. Yeah, that's better. Oh, okay. That's the best we're going to get. The beef's a little on the rare side, but I didn't have time to cook it for longer. And I don't mind a bit of rare beef. Well, let's say we get started. Let me rearrange things and get Lightroom up. So where did we end off last time? This is the problem with So long between streams. Let me have a look. Did we see the Tramway Museum? Did you see, I think we may have ended off at Parramatta Light Rail. Tell me if that makes sense, that we ended off at Parramatta Light Rail. Or did we end off at Newcastle? I suspect we may have ended off at Newcastle. Tell me, which one was it? Matt K183 says, in a week, Pav is doing a trip around the suburbs. Indeed, I'm well aware, because I'm a passenger. A very expensive tour, but worth it, it seems, hopefully. Okay. No one's telling me whether we ended at Newcastle or if we ended at Parramatta. I think we ended at Newcastle. Okay, Matt checked and we finished at Newcastle. Cool. Let's share the screen. Here we go. This was the last photo at Newcastle. And this is Olympic Park, with the novelty, of course, being Platform 0. How many other stations in the world have a Platform 0? I think it's less than 10. Could be wrong there. So here's Platform 0. Rod is indicating that we may have seen Olympic Park already, but that's not Olympic Park station, sorry. That's Lidcombe, I think, from memory. That's Olympic Park. Interesting thing here being the two platform faces for the one track. The idea being that for events and stuff, when you've got peak loading and unloading, what you want to do is you'll pull up here, open the doors to this side, and let all your passengers off. Then once everyone's off, close the doors to that side and open the doors to that side where you've got the platform screen doors. It's not what I wanted. So you can see a train there. During off-peak times, the outer platforms are not in use, and it's just the inner island platform M set coming through. Going to Schofields, it seems. Schofields. Okay, so I think Rod's saying that this style of platform usage is fairly common around the world. But how common is platform 0? Not that common. Certainly don't have a platform 0 in Victoria, or don't think anywhere else in Australia, apart from Lidcombe. It's just Parramatta, I think. Yeah, because that's the Bathurst Bullet, I think. Or it might just be a normal Bathurst local. What was the time? 3:38, so yeah, just not your Bullet. And I jumped on a bus. Where did the bus take me? I can't remember. It took me to here. Another part of Parramatta where I could see the light rail. Why did I get on that bus? Don't ask me. Because I ended up going back to Parramatta Station and jumping on a train. I think that's right. I wanted to go to the ferry terminal in Parramatta and then get a ferry to Circular Quay and then get another ferry from Circular Quay to Manly, because I've got family that lives in Manly, so I was going to visit them for dinner. But then I figured out, actually I don't have time to do the whole ferry. I don't have time to get a ferry to Circular Quay. I just need to get a train. So here we are back at Circular Quay. Getting on a freshwater class ferry. The conditions were, there we are, we're already at Manly Wharf. The conditions were not calm. Oh, yeah, they were rough enough so that, I told passengers, just while we're going through near the heads, just watch yourself. And if you didn't know boats, you'd think that it was pretty dramatic, us going up and down. But if you knew boats and you knew the ferries and you knew the water and everything, you knew it was nothing on what they can experience. Wait till you see my ride back. Anyway, Manly Wharf. Oh, so it's night time now. I just got a bus from near the wharf to my uncle and cousin's house, and then I think they dropped me back off at the terminal. So we're here at night. Oh yeah. And this is what I decided to do, knowing that it would be rough. I decided to sit out on the front deck, on the upper front deck. And okay, so we're just leaving there, and then I think I got a shot of Sydney. Yeah, there's probably it looks like there was a good 15 minutes where I didn't take any photos, and you think, okay, was there nothing, could you see anything? Well, no, not really, but also I got splashed, horrifically splashed, and I kind of signed up for it, so not trying to garner any sympathy, but it was certainly, I knew I'd get splashed. I wasn't quite ready for being absolutely drenched. Like, I was prepared to be like wet all over, but I wasn't prepared for, like, I had my camera out and it can handle a little splash here and there. But then I saw us hit a wave and I was like, nope. Quickly sort of put my camera down and just pulled my bag up just to cover the camera, because if I didn't, it would have been like throwing it underwater basically, and it can't survive that. Not that I've ever tried. But yes, when the waves calmed down a little bit and, it wasn't a cold night. It wasn't a cold night, so I wasn't concerned about being wet. But yeah, took a photo of this random group of people. When you carry around a big camera, you'll often get people saying, "Oh, can you take a photo of us?" Especially when a few of them are a little bit tipsy. I did manage to get the photo onto my phone and send it off to them before we got off the ferry. Once the waves calmed down, everyone wanted to come out, but only those who were brave enough to endure the waves got the front spots. But it was fun. I would definitely do that again. Let me just check something. Yeah, that can be quit. Computer's running a little slow. Photoshop can quit. That's the intensive stuff gone. Hey, better, much better. So Harbour Bridge, Opera House. It's a really nice journey. Coming into Circular Quay. Is that an Emerald class ferry? I'm not entirely familiar with my Sydney ferries. That's a freshwater. But the new ferries, of course, have been widely publicised for not being able to handle the conditions. But Circular Quay is a nice place at night, very photogenic. And I think I'll pause here and read some comments. Adelaide Metro's double platforms, says Matt. Patrick says, first time I went to Sydney, I was 4 years old. I was probably around the same age when I first went to Sydney. Somali Mapping says, hey Floyd, I've been a fan since 2017. Keep the good work. I've been watching since I was 9. Whoa, all right. Thank you for sticking around. 2017, I would have been 19. 19 turning 20. Yeah. And Roderick Smith says, for years, the service advertised 7 miles from Sydney, 1,000 miles from Care. Okay. First Fleet is the ferry class. That says those ferries are my favourite. I went on Fishburn and Golden Grove. Oh yeah? Yeah, that's something for my next visit to Sydney, is I'd like to do a few more ferry trips. I only did the Manly there, the Manly back, and I think one more. Now granted, I was focusing on the railways deliberately, but yeah, just something. Soon enough I'll have done more of Sydney transport than most Sydney-siders. Although, that's probably not too hard to do. Stephen says, g'day Floyd, sorry I'm late. I just got back from my first 707 Ops tour today. Oh, nice. How was it? Yeah, it's all good for the typo, mate. Somali. Okay. We're at St James, I think. Yes. I sort of had 2 ways of getting back to my hotel. I could either, I could either get off at St James and walk for about 15 minutes. That sucks that they were both blurry. Or I could get off at King's Cross and walk for about 10 minutes. So in this case, it was going to be quicker to just get off at St James and walk for 15 than it would be to go change, go find an Eastern Suburbs train and yeah, go to King's Cross. So it's fairly quiet at, what was it, 10:20 p.m. Yes, certain pockets of Sydney had good nightlife, but most of it felt a bit dead. Melbourne definitely has a greater nightlife. Not that I participate in it much. So yeah, Martin Place is where we are now. Oh, so it looks like I walked over to Martin Place and then got on a train to King's Cross, apparently. Oh well. Yeah, I think I definitely could have just walked further. But yeah, I probably just wanted to go to Martin Place just for something to do. Fit in another little thing at 10:35 p.m. at night. Oh, that wasn't even one of my latest nights. My God, the hiccups. Couple of what's that? An Endeavour and an Explorer. Looks like I went for a walk. Took a few photos. Lift number 1. Where was that lift? Good question. Oh, I know. There was a road behind the camera in this shot, I'm pretty sure. And they had a footbridge that had a lift. Yeah. And then I went to Loftus. And any good railway enthusiast knows what's at Loftus. It's the Tramway Museum. The Tramway Museum where I rode almost exclusively Brisbane trams. In Sydney. So here at Royal National Park, this is the terminus. Of course, if you don't know, this was formerly a heavy rail line, and this was the terminus, but it's now used by the Tramway Museum. So you can see that's the old heavy rail platform that is a bit too high for the trams. Buffer stops. Yeah, just had a few runs. And of course, you may have seen my video, which I put out, I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago, which was of riding one of these trams. Now that's the proper Sydney tram. I only got a very short ride on that. Oh, and some freight coming through Loftus. 281 classes, and I didn't record what it even was. Oh, there we go, I did. It was train 9138. I've now lost access to that tracking app because apparently somebody dubbed us in. It's unfortunate, but it was going to happen sooner or later. I'm just glad that I had it for Sydney. The 2 times that I've had access to tracking apps and whatnot has been the 2 times that I've gone on major holidays, major rail-related holidays. Yeah, this is the prison tram. Not many places in the world had prison trams. That was a little bit creepy walking up to that. It was good that they had they had your standard trams like your toast racks and your drop centres and your drop ends, but they also had some interesting stuff. I mean, they had a few like Ballarat trams, and they had stuff like this, the M&M TB scrubber. Oh, actually, that was a track grinder, I think. Or was it a scrubber? I can't remember. I think it was a track grinder. They had this international tram, which I think was German. And you had this thing, which is the weed burner tram. Oh, no. Yes, oxyacetylene tanks so that you can, it's one thing to spray weed killer on, it's another thing to just burn them. Warning, grass burning in progress. Keep clear of flame. Yes, I don't think such a thing would pass with today's standards. Standard tramway controller. That's the German tram. I assume it was German. The writing looked German, but honestly it could be something else for all I know. Old signal box. I'll have to go back another time and write a few more actual Sydney trams. Because yeah, I just got a very short ride on this one. And then it got put away. Did we even get as far as Sutherland? Perhaps, I'm not entirely sure. that was the thumbnail for the tramway video. And you can see in this photo that there's only myself and this guy as passengers, and then the two, driver and the conductor. That building, I forget what its story is, but it's been in a decrepit state for a long time. Tramway Avenue, and back to Loftus Station at the end of the day. Seeing an M, is that an M set? Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. No, other way. Yeah, it's an M. M what though? Oh, it's a H. H, what am I saying? It's a H, of course it is. I knew I recognised it. And I thought, oh no, I don't think it's M. It's a H, H43 it was. And we've got a Tangaro coming through. And if I can find a clear photo, that one's probably clearer. Wait for it to load. Oh, it's not that clear. Anyway, you see how this front bit is sort of angled down, opposite way a little bit, and T108. Well, that one and that little thing means that it was formerly an outer suburban G set. So, a few minor differences. One of them being reversible seats. The standard Tangaro T-sets don't have reversible seats. Of course, in Melbourne, no trains have reversible seats. Oh yeah, but here we are at Cronulla. And its claim to fame is that it's got a very long platform. Yeah, you can see that's an 8-car set, parked up there, and we've got another 8-car set parked down here. The platform is quite long. How long exactly? I forget. Is it longer than Albury? I can't remember. But it's got the classic Art Deco clock face there. And you can see a normal sort of T set has got a flat, completely flat front. And it's just a 2-digit set number as opposed to 3 digits. Wow, that has to be the best photo I've taken on the whole trip. Yeah, going across the water. Photographing a K set, I think. I didn't go on a K set. Yeah, K72. I couldn't find one to go on. But that's another goal of next time I'm in Sydney. There you go. That's the inner workings of an escalator. Here at Central, I'll read a few more comments. There's been quite a number. Stephen said the 7 to 7 tour was great. Got to go to the Dalesford Spa Country Railway again for the first time since I was a little lad. Nice. Somali says, when I was 7, I went to Sydney and I got kidnapped to Broken Hill for 8 hours. I was in a wooden cabin. My watch had a tracker though, and my parents found me. Oh gee. That's would be quite an experience. Your first time to Broken Hill. He says, Matt says, thank God for your watch. Somali says, I know, and my dad is dead. He died in Werribee when he was going to take a train home, but he got a heart attack 4 weeks ago. Oh shit, man. That must be pretty tough. I lost my dad about 2 years ago. No. Oh, yeah. Yeah, coming up to 2 years ago. It doesn't feel like 2 years ago, but yeah, my dad died from cancer, but it was kind of unexpected nonetheless, so yeah. Sucks. Moving on though. Matt says the need for a prison tram. Yeah, so Sydney had a tram to transport prisoners from the courthouse to the prison, funnily enough. And there was one highly publicised escape. They made the body of the tram nice and secure with steel and wood, and then had a canvas roof, and he cut his way through the canvas roof and escaped through the roof. Jackson Black says, "Heyo, I'm a recent subscriber, but I like your stuff a lot. Just flicking through the stream, saw you went through St James Station. Were you tempted to go looking for the secret tunnels?" I was tempted for sure, but without going into details, I had a driving accident a couple of years ago, and nobody was hurt apart from myself, but there was significant property damage, and so I was I got a good behaviour bond essentially, and although that probably only includes driving related offences, which of course I don't plan to commit any of those. I'm also just playing it safe with Urbex at the moment, but that period expires at the end of April, so fingers crossed I make it through. But I would like to go find the secret tunnels another time. I don't think they'd be accessible though, unless you knew someone who knew how to get in or whatever. Rod said a lot of Queensland cane lines used burning instead of poison. Some overseas, Cuba, Java or both. kind of makes sense for the sugarcane. I mean, the practice of burning was, of course, a big part of the sugarcane growing. But yeah, to see like a traditional street tramway deal with weeds that way is interesting. Okay, the building I think Rod's talking about at the Tramway Museum was a streetscape set. I thought it would have been. Dubai has an automatic tram, says Somali. Biggest in the world as well, metro. Okay. Yeah, Oscar was a H set. On the Kiama line or Port Kembla? Or I don't know where it was heading, but the line goes to both from Loftus. Rod Smith says, I can't do it top of head, looking at platforms and whether Albury was longer or shorter. Double length platforms with mid-length crossovers were common in India and New Zealand. VR did it with Flinders Street Platform 1 and 10-12. They still do it with 10 and 12. 1, not so much. Of course, you had 1 west, 1 central and 1 east, which is, or was, platform 14. It's now not even numbered 14. Matt says, is this person in jail? I don't know who you were referring to, but if you're referring to the guy that escaped the prison tram, yeah, he was caught and put back in prison. And Stephen says, in other news, 707 Ops have confirmed on Facebook that they now own the former SAR Vice Regal carriage Luana, purchased from the VGR, who took it on the way back. Yeah, that's very nice. I saw that. How are we going for time? We're 10 minutes to go until we hit the hour mark. And we've got a decent amount of photos left, but I think we can finish them tonight. So here we are at outside Central. More photos of the trams, because I think that was one of the last things that I wanted to do was go on the tram to Juniors Kingsford and where's the other ones go to? I forget. Well, here we are at Juniors Kingsford. Bus and tram interchange. Randwick, that's where the other one goes. The name had left me. You can see a map of the Sydney trams. When I went, the L1 Dulwich Hill line was out of action due to the cracked trams. And a few weeks after I came back, they announced that they were going to recommence services using the trams from the L2 and L3 lines. And we had this discussion last time about the numbering scheme of Citadis trams. 5th generation Citadus trams. Central station, just a less commonly used entrance. I think this must have been my last day in Sydney. Yeah, it was. And now I was just hanging out at Central until my train came. XPT. Another XPT. And yeah, there we go, I've left Sydney. I think that's Goulburn, where 42103, was hauling the AK track recording cars. And here we are back in Melbourne, just like that. And of course the overland was there, so took the opportunity to photograph that. And then realised that I'd left my iPad on the XPT. And actually no, I hadn't realised at that point. I think I'd gotten on the train back to Flinders Street and then realised, and then I had to come back to Southern Cross to collect it, which at first we couldn't find it. Thought someone may have taken it, but then one of the cleaners found it, or may not have been the cleaners, it may have been just one of the regular staff, passenger attendants, whatever. But yeah, how's that for timing? We are under an hour. And finished with Sydney. Have a look at these photos. See if you want me to show you any of them in the final minutes. Otherwise, I will read some more comments. Patrick says, isn't there issues with cracking on the trams? There is, but there's the 3 different light rail routes in Sydney. There's L1, L2 and L3. L1 was the earliest one, and they used Urbos trams. Those were the ones which experienced cracking. L2 and L3 were just recently built, like in the past couple of years. And they used much newer trams from a different manufacturer, that don't have cracking issues. So while the Urbos trams are out of service, they tested the Citadus trams to see if they could run on the L1 successfully. And they found out that, yeah, with a couple of minor modifications they could. And so that's what they're doing now, is they've just shifted some of the trams to cover from L2 and L3 onto L1. Patrick McCarthy says, hey Floyd, is the new haircut recent? Looks good. Yes, it is fairly recent. I cut my hair about once every 6 months. I just get a buzzer and go, there we go, off with the air it goes. I'm quite lazy in that respect. But yeah, I cut it all off, I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago, something like that. So it's grown out a little bit since then. And Matt says, have you found out what platform the Tram leaves from Southern Cross in the morning? Nope, I have not found out. I would like to, and but you know, you turn up and you'll find it. What I'm more interested in is when we get to some place like Mernda or Sandringham, will we be able to get off the Tram? Like, will it stop in the platform at Sandringham, or will it go into the sidings? Because I want photos of it at Sandringham and Mernda, and I hope we can get off. But COVID might get in our way. Hopefully not, fingers crossed. And Mernda, do we get to travel to the end of the line, like, you know, into the sidings? Because that would be cool if we can. I mean, we've got to turn around somehow, so hopefully they drive us all the way. Fingers crossed. It will be cool to get photos of that. It's going to be a good tour. Did you ride the Tate train to Belgrave, says Patrick? I did indeed. Yeah, like a photo stop. I don't know. V-Line and Metro are a little bit iffy about photo stops these days. So yeah, do you want to see photos of the Tate launch in the final minutes, or Geelong number 2 tram, 85 Spring Street, Steam Rail Open Day, Shepparton Day Trip, Glen Huntly, Workers Hut at Rubicon, Small Boat, Festival of Sails, or random photos from Victoria and South Australia. Does any of that interest you in the for a brief period of time? Or should I just end the stream right on time, right on an hour? How's that for a concept? 1 vote for Shepparton. Only 29 photos, so we can do that. Shepparton day trip. Yeah, I went to collect. I had a freelance job. There's a website called Truck It. You can sign up if you get yourself an ABN, and you can just do sort of freelance delivery jobs type thing. Sometimes they've got jobs on there where you get paid to drive someone else's car. So I was going to get paid to drive someone's car from Shepparton to Oakley. I think I got paid $200, which is not bad. Minus my expenses, but still. Got a paid for trip to Shepparton, essentially. Won't say no to that. So yeah, I got the train up, or down, should I say, to Shepparton, the down Shepparton. And I got a H set, of course. I thought, will I rely on there being a buffet on board, or will I eat beforehand? And I thought, I know V-Line. they're going to put a H set on. And sure enough, they did. I thought if it wasn't going to be a H set, they would put an N set on and say, sorry, the buffet's not running today. Sorry we didn't tell you beforehand, but some random consoles there as well. I don't know who they are. But here we are at Shepparton. I posted that photo on Instagram. Shepparton Station with the modern extension. The N-Class running around. A bus to not sure where. Maybe Cobram. Who knows? I could probably work it out if I wanted to via the time. But yeah, that's it for that. Hope you enjoyed Shepparton. The car I drove was a 2006, I think, Toyota Prado, which was good. I am probably going to get a Prado as my next car in a couple of years' time when I'm actually employed, not at university, and can afford it. But yeah. Matt says, is the line to Dookie still running? Shepparton is the junction for that line. Nope, that's not running. Not even for freight. Although if I search for while that loads, Patrick says, pretty off topic, but how's the workload for an automotive engineering course? Given that I've missed my past 2 attempts at a live stream, I would say the answer is pretty hectic at times. First year is not too bad. Second year gets a bit more hectic. Third year gets a bit more hectic. By the time you get to 4th year, you are flat out. It's a heck of a lot of work, but all my subjects at the moment are interesting, so that makes it all right. I've struggled a bit in the past with the workload, especially when the subjects weren't so interesting to me. Is it something that you're considering going into? Is the Dookie line abandoned? Yeah, it sure is. I mean, these photos are just from Catamatite, or Catamatite to Dookie. That's on the approach to Dookie, I think. I'm just going to display the few photos from Dookie. That's where the rails end at Dookie. Over here, they're buried in the grass. I think I'm attempting to show where the rails end, but I can't really see it. Oh yeah, there's some rails in the road. And we've got my old Outback, Subaru Outback parked down the road. My current car is also a Subaru Outback, but a different one. The blue one died. And then it was resurrected, and then it died again, and then it was resurrected again. And at that point, I just sold it. I think the final sale price was $700. Yeah, there's the end of the track and the Dookie silos in the background. Dookie rail trail. I obviously got to Dookie at sunset. I was in the area for some other reason and just decided that I was going to check out the Dookie line and would look at that. I'm sure a few of you would recognise that person standing right there. Dookie, dookie, dookie. I'm going through these photos fairly quickly, and then I think we'll end it off after this. I mean, it was getting dark anyway, and my old camera didn't do as well as my current one does. I mean, you can see that it's not too bad, but I don't know how well this shows up on YouTube, but you can see a fair bit of noise in the sky. My current camera, you wouldn't be able to see that much. Not until you got to like 10,000 ISO. There you go. This plaque was unveiled on the 1st of October 1988 to commemorate 100 years of railway from Shepparton to Dookie. Australian Railway Historical Society and Association of Railway Enthusiasts. Of course, ARHS Vic does not exist anymore, but ARE does. So there you go. Stephen, I think the line is a bit more than booked out at this point. I know what you mean. The booked out really means that technically, now this doesn't exactly hold true in practice, but technically speaking, booked out means that if V-Line is given, I think 30 days notice or something like that, then they can open the line again. But I think the Dookie is a bit more than booked out at this stage. Patrick says, haha, fair enough. I'm currently studying in Year 12 and hoping to study in an area of engineering. Yeah, my only advice in terms of that would be like, have a think about, do you know what sort of discipline within engineering do you want to do? Like, do you want to go down the mechanical, automotive sort of path, or electrical, chemical, civil, aero? If you know, if you think, yeah, I'm really into automotive, or I'm really into aero or whatever, then yeah, go look at courses specific to, go look at universities that run specific courses like RMIT, where I go to, and does automotive and mechanical and aerospace specific courses. They don't have just a general engineering course. I'm not sure about Swinburne these days. When I was first looking at uni, Swinburne just had a general engineering course, as did Monash, I think. And I thought, nah, I do want to specialise early on. So, yeah. But if you don't know, if you don't necessarily want to specialise then early on, then you don't, and you want to just have a try of different fields, then go for a generic engineering course at Swinburne, Deakin, Monash, wherever suits you. And if you're not even sure that you want to do engineering, but you think, oh yeah, maybe something along those lines, maybe something a bit more sciencey, I don't know, then maybe look at a Bachelor of Science at Melbourne University or something like that. But Melbourne was definitely too broad for me. I'm glad that I just went directly into the specialty. Matt says, hectic. I know kids in my year 11 chem class are so behind. It gets funny at the times how we react as our old science teacher hands out papers. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what you're trying to say there, but people are behind in your class. I mean, I try not to get behind at uni, but sometimes it happens. I'm alright at the moment. That's why I cancelled the previous live streams, so that I didn't get behind. And Stephen says, Patrick, you might also be interested in doing an automotive apprenticeship too, if that's more your style, learning with your hands and not so much in the classroom. Well, yes, university in automotive engineering at RMIT is very much in the classroom, but you do plenty of practical stuff, and you can always join a club like the Formula SAE club, which I've just joined, where you can get very much hands-on experience. Or you can start off in a diploma or an associate's degree, something like that. They're much more hands-on, but it's a trade-off. You on the one hand, with the apprenticeships and whatnot, you get more hands-on experience, but while that hands-on experience might teach you how to fix a car, it won't teach you the necessary skills to design a car. You won't have any real idea of how to calculate stresses and strains and what that even means. What's the difference between ductility and toughness? Don't dismiss either. Smith says, good choice, Patrick. The papers are full of screaming shortage for all the big projects. First year is usually a repeat of year 12, then the pace hots. I wouldn't exactly agree. I would say that in first year, your first 6 weeks are maybe a repeat of year 12, maybe even less, first 4 weeks. It's, at least from my experience with RMIT, and then we really got into it. There's not too much overlooked. Patrick says, yeah, I have some work experience lined up for the holidays, which I'm hoping will be useful in my decision making. Yeah. Roderick Smith says, if I recall correctly, the Dookie line is served with the junction area will be the new sidings for the Velocity DMUs serving Shepparton. Perhaps that's the plan. Stephen, I understand where you're coming from, but you know, there's like, okay, yes, I guess any line that is closed is also booked out. If it was booked out first, then the booking out was never lifted, but you know, it's beyond that stage. It's not just booked out. I don't know what terminology exactly V-Line uses, but it's more than just booked out. And the Malort line is similar. Roderick Smith says another growth area has been air conditioning and ventilation. COVID-19 has increased the importance. Yeah, the boat that I sail on, one of the owners, it's owned jointly by 3 different people, and one of the owners has a commercial air conditioning business. Patrick says, definitely planning on specialising, potentially electrical seems like an area which I hold the deepest interest towards. Okay, yeah. Also consider mechatronics engineering, which is sort of in between electrical and mechanical. Perhaps that's something you'd be interested in. But, you know, with electrical, I have at times said to myself, thank God I didn't do electrical, because I've seen some of the work that they do and I just have gone like, that's beyond me. But then again, if I had done electrical, then I'm sure I'd be staring at some of the stuff that I've done in automotive/mechanical and gone like, whoa, that's just beyond me. So it's all a matter of perspective. And I have a side interest in electronics, I guess. Yeah, I know a bit, just from personal stuff. Anyway, we've been going for an hour and 20 minutes. So good little chat at the end, but I will end it off here. So thanks for watching, everyone, and will I see you in 2 weeks' time? That's a good question. Friday of 2 weeks' time. Look, it's Good Friday and it's my grandma's 90th birthday, and I may or may not be able to. I'm not sure. If I can't do it on Good Friday, I definitely won't be able to do it on Saturday because I'm going away. I could either postpone it to Friday the 22nd or just skip it altogether and go straight to the 29th. Yeah, I'll see whether I can manage Good Friday. Otherwise, I think I'll probably just skip it and head straight to the 29th. It's easier than committing to something I can't keep, I think. We'll see. Keep an eye on my Instagram for any updates around the time, and if I remember, I will also put out a community post on YouTube. yeah, no worries, Patrick. And yeah, Matt, I'll see you on the dam. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time. Bye-bye.